ourselves the blue Protoss player ShoWTimE taking on the red Terran player. In the bottom left-hand side, we've got Clem. Bit of a disastrous day for Clem yesterday as he got eliminated from the Rex April Madness tournament, if you missed that. Kind of a shocking series, one of those days where Clem just did not look like Clem. Those days happen, and yesterday was definitely one of them. Rogue played well. I think Clem, to me, that was Clem did not play up to the expectations of Clem, like I say. You know, so used to seeing Clem play at a very high level, obviously just holding high expectations for him a lot of the time. I think it's fair to kind of come out and just say when, you know, Clem doesn't quite deliver on the level we expect him to. And yesterday was, like I say, definitely one of those days. This TvP always fun. ShoWTimE has struggled to win against Clem lately, is the reality of it. Which is wild to me, because I always feel like ShoWTimE has such a good chance when he plays against Clem, you know? And maybe I'm just thinking back a little bit too long in my my brain memory of StarCraft history or so, but I would always say Clem and ShoWTimE was a very competitive matchup, you know? To me, this was always a match between two European players, but yes, Clem was a lot of the time favored, but a lot of the time, you know, Clem might have been favored, but ShoWTimE came out with a couple of game wins and series wins as well. ShoWTimE does not win a lot against Clem anymore, even though I still feel like sometimes he takes him to some very cool and interesting game states. Actually kind of pushing it over the edge and getting a win out of it is something that is been a challenge for ShoWTimE in recent history, so we'll see if that's going to remain true going into this one here today, or if we are going to maybe be able to get a bit more solidified as ShoWTimE and or as Clem, and really just show once again that he is absolutely the best right now, or one of the best at the very least. That's very difficult to take matches off of him, which I think we can all agree is typically the case. As that Reaper comes around, we'll just have our Nexus coming through, the Assimilator coming up, and get settled in for a couple of moments as the Wolf Gate comes online, and we'll see what kind of build Clem would like to build into here as well. That's definitely going to be one of the big question marks. What kind of build are you expecting to see out of the Terran? How aggressive does Clem get? How feisty does he want to be? Etc, etc. All of that is going to be good, very reasonable questions that, yeah, will definitely set a lot of the tone in this game as well. So we shall see how that pans out. I was trying to get in already, trying to find a little bit of info, not going to find much of anything just yet as we just have it pushed away. Blink's still coming up, the Warp Gate's still coming up as well. And we do have ourselves the Reaper just moving back up toward the top for a couple more moments. So again, a little bit of movement here and there, a little bit of setting up right now. Blinking that Warp Gate, continue to come about still. So again, we bring that through, we get that all going. Just going to have this Reaper coming back over to the sides. Again, the Robo Facility and the Gate coming up. A couple probes coming about, the Siege Tank and the Marines coming about as well. So, again, doing a lot of what we can for the moment. The Robo Facility obviously just gives you a very stable setup as well, so not really ShoWTimE kind of heading into anything too overly crazy or anything. It's actually looking very straight up and traditional at the moment in terms of how he gets going, so yeah, very normal for him so far as the Siege Tank and a couple Marines continue to come about. Viking on the way as well, Blink about to finish, the Observer and the Stalker coming up, the Gate's still coming through. Marines, the rest of those bits and bobs coming through as well. As you see, there's a couple of devs going to go a shading. Cyclone going to get a lock on towards a couple of workers as well. And we're just going to go pushing up at the front here. So we're going to come attacking straight in. This is one of those first scary moments here basically for ShoWTimE already, where you just cannot afford to lose out in this moment, right? Like, this is not a moment you want things to go super wrong for you in or anything along those lines. This is a kind of a sit there and, you know, deal with it thing. Gonna blink forward, gonna get rid of the Cyclone now as well. The Adept doing a lot of the tanking damage, and ShoWTimE's benefit here is as he chases this away, he might get a lot more units, but he loses one more Stalker. And going up the ramp there was actually quite expensive for ShoWTimE. Now a tank sieged up on the high ground. That reinforcement definitely helping. Oh, nice. He's going to get there as the tank sieges to pull back. And then he loses 2 Stalkers for it, which... That part I don't love anywhere near as much, obviously, right? It felt very good. Losing another tank is not exactly ideal. Definitely a little bit of trouble abound as we just have our Stalkers still trying to trade out. Still trying to do a little bit more work here for the moment. Stimpack and +1 coming about right now, so again we get all of that on the way. Forge Nexus coming through as well. The charge also continuing up currently. Marines actually going to come across with those few Vikings there, and they're going to be playing the defense, so that's going to work out quite nicely as well. Better than expected, to be honest. Again, Stimpack and the +1 attack upgrade both coming through. The Marine Marauder Medevac continues to come about also. Noble Bay, a bunch of additional gates coming through, the +1 on the charge coming over as well. So again, we just get our next stage of this coming in from ShoWTimE. So he doesn't die. I still gotta say, I don't know if I really love the trade for ShoWTimE. Resources loss comes out to be just slightly favorable for Clem, so it really doesn't look that bad. Like, when you look at it just like that... Yeah, when I look at it just like that, I'm like, yeah, okay, like... I feel like it's been okay, but I just feel like the problem for me is that it felt as though ShoWTimE should have had much better trades than what he got. Right? He definitely had a much set of rough, like, he definitely traded badly compared to the setup that was available initially. If that makes sense, because there was a lot of moments where I think he should have been able to clean up, and then he lost so many more units in the process of cleaning up. And that was, like I say, pretty expensive, pretty rough. Definitely a little bit of a tough one. Fire going to be there, a couple of siege tanks still setting up as well. Moving around again, just going to see a bio gathering up. Siege tank will settle. I'm just going to have ourselves a couple of Stalkers are going to be there too. Going to get pushed back a little bit. In fact, the Marauders continue to come through, so we continue to just build up there for a little. Bio, the Vikings coming around once more, so again, just going to be setting up for a little bit. We just get ourselves this attempted move on the map, not going to go too far, and that's obviously one thing which ShoWTimE is going to continue to smile about here for the moment. He's going to be pretty happy that Clem is seemingly halting at the moment and not coming across the map, because more time to get your upgrades into play, more time to get tech units into play is always a good thing. Now, what we're not seeing, which we've seen a lot of lately in TvP, is that we've seen a lot of the Protoss player really taking control of the map and really being the player to be out there aggressively placed with the army, constantly threatening the Terran's base and making it very difficult for the Terran to justify really doing much of anything, because what essentially happens is that you end up, well, TLDR as the Terran player, you kind of end up just kind of hemmed into your base, and as you're hemmed into that base, it becomes very difficult for you to get any pressure out. You've got to really respect those Colossus. ShoWTimE has not had that ability to be out here yet. Now he's starting to move out. We'll see how well he can hold the map. We'll see how much he can force from Clem, given a little bit of setup time now. And given an actual position, I think, here in the next couple of moments, which will be very significant in that regard as well. Stalker's just poking away. Obviously, Clem on 3 bases. ShoWTimE has expanded to the upper left to make it a 4th base for himself. As Clem does have the Vikings, ShoWTimE gets forward with the Stalkers. He's going to get rid of a Viking or 2 maybe, but he loses the Prism, losing the Prism is always going to be very expensive. I mean, it's very difficult to get by without the Prism in place, so... Yep, that's going to be very rough indeed. As you just see the Colossus, the Zealots, and the Stalkers coming back there again. Vikings fighting back once more. A couple of Zealots are still making their way over. Those Marines are going to shoot. The Zealots still taking shots. A little bit more coming about as our medevacs make their way over to that right-hand side. So again, trying to see what might happen here. Nice drop is going to get rid of the 5th, so that's going to be a nice kill already from Clem. ShoWTimE, got to stay on top of this stuff. He gets underneath, though, gets a full medevac. Is that warping the Stalkers in the main already blinked? I think so. They're not going to be able to get underneath the next medevac. So they could have killed off everything there. Then, you know, losing the 5th base for that full cleanup would have probably been absolutely okay. Which is a pretty crazy statement, but I actually think it would have been pretty fine. See the couple of Marines still alive. So this is actually a good cleanup in general from ShoWTimE. Ends up losing some workers, but I feel like that's a worker loss that's fairly manageable in the grand scheme of things right now. You know, you still got 4 bases. Replacing 11 workers takes a little bit of time, but nothing too crazy. Like I say, it feels very manageable at the moment. +3 and +2 on the way from ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, the 2-2 just on the way out from Clem as well, so we bring all of that up. Get that into play. Find the Vikings gathering up on the bottom side as well. Still, the 2-2 upgrade still there. Gates and the Nexus coming about. We just have ourselves the continuation with all of those. And otherwise, ShoWTimE going to show back on the left-hand side. Same position as we had kind of earlier. Gets rid of the bunker. Clem was just a bit more poised to the right. Again, trying to use these Stalkers as a way to get under the Vikings and zone out and protect the Colossus. Now, what's really cool is that the Disruptors then protect the Stalkers. There's a lot of protection going on in this army. The Stalkers protect the Colossus. The Disruptors protect the Stalkers. That is the general idea, as each part of this force has kind of a way that it's useful. However, when the Disruptors go down, the Stalkers can't turn as easily. When the Stalkers can't turn as easily, the Vikings don't get pushed back, and then the Colossus take a lot of heavy hits and they begin to die, and that's exactly what's been going on here. As those Colossus taking some heavy hits on the chase down, and it's always a retreating Protoss player who feels as though they're at their weakest, and definitely seems like the case there as well, as that is a lot of falling down going on. There's other Stalkers coming back the other way again. So try to set up one more time. Medevac's going to boosting over. The Liberators are going to be there too. ShoWTimE obviously will get a chance to rebuild, but you can see it's not exactly rich, and without being rich, a rebuild like that is going to come at a pretty hefty price. Like I say, it's just going to take a little while. It's definitely not been ideal. This is not being the situation you were looking for here, is ShoWTimE losing so much and running away there. Ends up now in a little bit of a tricky spot. DTs are going to come around though, and DTs may be the change of pace that ShoWTimE needs to give him a helping hand. Because, I mean, from ShoWTimE's point of view now, at least he's got something which can kind of force the Terran to turn around and look elsewhere a little bit more than just that main army. The only concern I have about Dark Templar is they're super expensive, and so the moment they get scanned and jumped on, they die. ShoWTimE is not rich enough to me to be able to afford just wave after wave of Dark Templar in that sort of number at the very least. And, you know, it gets to a point here where typically they are going to be needed in those kind of numbers. As the rocks get knocked down, so that cooling tower is going to drop. Water mine's going out, the Stalker's taking some hits. He's getting to the natural where they will chase around a little bit. EMP comes down. That's what I mean. It's going to get so expensive with these DTs. We're going to try and recall them. Never got rid of the missile turret. We get 3 out of that. It's better than nothing, though. better than nothing. Just could have been... Yeah, you just wanted more. You obviously just got a little bit trapped. But you got to do what you got to do as ShoWTimE, and making those plays are the sort of things that will give him opportunity in this game still. You can't just give up on the idea of, you know... You can't just rely on, like, the... You can't just play around the idea of, like, oh, my DCs are going to get caught, I can't do anything with them. You've got to put those opportunities out there, otherwise this becomes very still very quickly for himself. Again, ShoWTimE has a lot of bases. He stayed on the map with this main army. He got pushed back heavily that one time, but he's rebounded from that. And I want to say that this is where ShoWTimE kind of wants to be, but again, Clem seems to be winning the larger fights so far. Seems to just be getting the better edge on that, and that definitely has quite the impact to talk about as well. Those 3 ship weapons still coming through. CC just going to float up to that left-hand side, just going to take position. A couple of Zealots, 1 to 4, they're not going to do much themselves. They're just going to drop as well. ShoWTimE shows up on the west once more, is just going to come straight through, and the Zealots just aren't lasting long enough, right? Like, it doesn't feel like we have enough tankiness then. I mean, maybe the Zealots are lasting a good amount of time, but it's not long enough for the Pros army to do what it needs to at the end of the day. That's the real point, is that the Colossus just aren't killing anything in the time that those Zealots are being that frontline defense. And so this army of ShoWTimE really got nothing done at all in that trade. And unfortunately for him, he kind of needed to get something done. Right now he is heading in a pretty bad direction. He's definitely heading the wrong way in this game. This base top left going to be denied. He can rebuild up fairly quickly. Resources lost, though, is already an 8,000 difference. And again, the recent trades that we've been seeing are not suggestive at all that we're going to start fixing this or anything, right? Like, the recent trades continue to go in a very similar direction, which is just downhill. We've not seen success in that regard in the slightest just yet for ShoWTimE. So yeah, he's definitely in some struggling positions at the moment. Try and push forward with this wave of reinforcements. He actually gets around the back of the Terran army. We lift up, we get 1 full medevac sniped, so there is a little bit of value found there that maybe wasn't looking to be there when we first started out. Take what you can get a lot of the time. That's definitely one of those moments you just sort of try and find yourself some value at the tail end. Again, the overall trades don't feel good because I feel like you're wanting to trade so much better than this generally as ShoWTimE, but again, right now, he can only do what he can. He can only do what's within his grasp. That's what he continues to aim for currently. A bit of bio heading down to the bottom right-hand side, so it's just going to come across as well here. Bio Liberator, Medevac coming out down the bottom right. We're going to see the bottom right base of Clem gets jumped on. Stalker's going to eat a Widowmine shot, though, trying to get it. He'd really like to get rid of this clearly, as he obviously would like to just have himself a free reign as best as you can to just not let the Terran player have bases. The more you can do that, again, typically the happier you're going to end up being. Liberator can definitely a challenge as well. ShoWTimE's never really been rich enough to move into the, the Sky Toss tech that would really deal with Liberators a lot more easily, so that's kind of a permanent problem as well. And let's chase forward here, Clem pushing through. Well, as long as we're outside the Liberator range, you can't complain about the fights from ShoWTimE. Felt like that could have been one more Liberator before he blinked back there, unfortunately, but it was not. A couple cannons to try and help you out. Can ShoWTimE hang on in? Again, the trades have continued to not exactly be great for him. They have been a bit more even recently, so there's been a benefit or a progress kind of made, but the problem is you'd still traded bad initially, so when are you going to bring that efficiency back? Has that base count of ShoWTimE been enough to set him up for this? Well, again, that's a big question mark, because he's now going to hit the bottom right-hand side. A couple of Widowmines there. Again, trying to deny this base, and I wonder if ShoWTimE truly sees a way where he can win this game purely off the back of just denying his opponent economy and just having enough bases himself. It's going to be tough because he continues to get challenged, his army continues to struggle, and if nothing else, at some point you still got to wipe out at least one Terran army, right? at some stage that still has to be in the plan. So when does that come into the plan? When does that actually truly show up? And is the bio here going to chase through a bunch more probes going down once again? Shots trying to find their way around the edges. That's a lot of probes. I mentioned one of the strengths of ShoWTimE obviously is the worker count, the base count. Obviously losing workers like that is going to just make this a whole lot more difficult for you to kind of stick in this and to keep it going the way you need it to. So yeah, a lot of problems arising just little by little as ShoWTimE, again, as I kind of said earlier, feels like he always gives some really good games against Clem. There always looks like potential. But actually getting the game wins, actually turning those into series victories, that is the struggle for ShoWTimE in this matchup, as it is for so many players because Clem is just that good. But ShoWTimE definitely is one of those players that clearly can stand up to Clem and kind of make him, you know, give him a push and give him a shove for his money. But he just can't quite win the war at the end of the day still, as Lib siege up again, a bit of bio coming across, Ghost settling down. Also a few Stalkers continue out as well as we play a bit of cleanup there. ShoWTimE once again back in this bottom right. He's doing a pretty good job of denying this location, to be fair. If nothing else, he's been very consistent at making sure that it does not get to come online and stay online. See, Clem wants to make sure ShoWTimE doesn't get to stick and deny that bottom base too much. Doesn't want him to get comfortable there as well. Doesn't want ShoWTimE to feel like that's a base that he could take. Prism and 2 more Nexus on the way. So got that +3 ship weapons coming up as well. So again, we continue with that currently. And the Vikings, the Ghost as well, continue to come across as we are going to be seeing a couple of EMPs going down already, a couple of Disruptors getting caught in there as well. Army still moving up, the Stalker Colossus to the side, Liberators are going to set up as well here, so again we just get all of that gathered. For the moment, Liberators are going to continue to go towards the Colossus. Giselle still charging up. Ghost getting taken down as well. ShoWTimE taking a good fight here, getting rid of some of the real important units of Clem. A lot of what's left over is in the sky, and that doesn't really work unless you've got the time to set up that army, as ShoWTimE comes completely across the other direction. Liberator sieges up here as well. Okay, I feel like we're cooking a little bit right now as ShoWTimE. This was a much better fight than what we've seen so far. As our Stalker Colossus force continues to come about now. She'll just position a little bit. We get rid of this planetary fortress. A lot of damage going out onto it. The Colossus are being kept safe in the back. We do get the planetary in the end. ShoWTimE's supplies plummeting in the tail end of this, though. Man, it's been such a fantastic push across the map, but he loses so much trying to do it, and he just doesn't have the money to realistically rebuild out of it either. Oh, he's such a believer. I really thought ShoWTimE was onto something, but just getting a bit too expensive. Finally runs out of steam, and this time I just don't think there's a rebuild, right? The supply will not lie. That's a hefty difference in this game at the moment. Sometimes it's really important to kind of recognize when the good thing has had enough of a good run, you know? And just kind of let go of it before it goes too far, because I feel like ShoWTimE was doing well here, and then if he just stepped back and regroups, would have been a very different scenario to what you see now. And I think he started to do enough where he could have justified falling back and regrouping a little bit, right? Now it's going to be very difficult. Don't know if we're really going to make our way out of this at all. In this first game, 25 minutes on Ultra Love, we have been delivered to a little bit of a treat here to open up this second match of the group stage. Well, a couple of Stalkers is going to blink in after Marauders. ShoWTimE is still going to try and find value, but you lose the 3 o'clock base as well. Clem is going to slowly make his way down to that bottom right. This base that ShoWTimE denied over Clem so many times might be where ShoWTimE makes his final stand on this map. This army is going to get completely washed over. There is no competition in that at all. That is plain, simple, easy to see that there's just not enough there at all from ShoWTimE. He will try and micro the Colossus back, but you need something shy of a miracle to make this work as the Liberators show up as well. They can actually go after the Prism, and as that Prism falls with the Colossus inside, I would not be surprised to see the GG. ShoWTimE taps out of this one and gives us a Game 1 victory to Clem after a grueling affair on 3. In the bottom left-hand side, has a 1-0 lead. This is going to be Clem. I actually thought that last game had a lot of potential to end super early with the way in which the first push was going. It really felt like ShoWTimE was going to struggle to break out initially, and then he did break out, but then he traded bad. ShoWTimE in the top right will be hoping to get off to a little bit of a smoother start this time around, I imagine. Here for this game number 2. Make the map and get underway. Again, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Appreciate it. If you're watching on the YouTube right now, it's that time of day as I go over to chat. And first, I'll say hello to Growleth, saying good morning from Eastern Canada. GLHF, hell yeah, thank you so much for dropping by. And good morning to you. The other thing I was actually going to say, though, is that we obviously have ourselves the beautiful like and subscribe button just there below the yeah, just there below the YouTube stream. So if you can take a moment and help give us a like on the YouTube channel, subscribe as well if you don't already. If you're on Twitch and you don't subscribe to the YouTube, consider clicking that button. I really want to try and push our YouTube subs up. I feel like I've got a theory that if we start just pushing YouTube subs a bit more, YouTube's going to give us like a wave of like, hey, you know what? Let's do it. As that probe comes about, SCV taking some nibbles. Yes, head on over to the YouTube and give it a like and subscribe if you don't already. Anyways, I'm just sorry. I'm multitasking because I myself am trying to get onto my YouTube stream to give it my own like. I like my own content. Yes. There you go. The Wardy like has been added. We're on 40 right now. Let's keep getting that up there, guys. Let's keep growing that number today. Let's get that like count rolling if you're on the YouTube. We're coming up to 50,000 YouTube subs as well. So like I say, definitely head on over there. Give us a helping hand. Helps us out a whole bunch. We appreciate it if you do. Anyways, back to this TvP. As the Reaper comes about. Am I going to be streaming on the weekend? Yes! This weekend is actually the Spring Championship playoffs. So this tournament you've been watching, we wrap it up this weekend. All top 8 players playing in a double elimination bracket. One of the things I do generally want to do this year with the WardiTV tournaments and the bigger events that we're going to be running, or trying to run, etc., is that I really want to try and make sure that the playoffs are always played across like a weekend. I want to always give the playoffs like a real kind of playoff feel. Where it's like, you know what, even if you just watch, like, even if you don't, like, because a lot of people aren't into watching each and every group or following the full tournament, they just want to tune in for, like, a weekend of StarCraft. So if we can, the idea is to deliver that kind of feeling where, like, you can show up on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you know what tournament is on, the format is going to be consynced, it's going to be, you know, you're going to be able to follow it just from that weekend if you want. You'll have a little bit of info on the groups and stuff. Like, I'm not going to pretend the groups didn't happen. But the goal is to always have these weekends really feel like some championship weekends and to feel like some big conclusion rather than just another couple days of StarCraft. So yes, this weekend is the Spring Championship playoffs. I'm going to try and give it a whole lot of love as we give this event hopefully the send-off it deserves. It's been a pretty great one. It's been one of my favorite WardiTV events in a while, honestly. So yeah, hopefully we can give it a good proper send-off, like I say, this weekend in the playoffs. So yes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be good, as our Cyclone is going to grab a hallucination overhead, so we're just going to get rid of that. A couple Stalkers and the Sentry will be there. The Reaper still getting chased away as well. Siege Tank comes down to the natural. Banshee of Clem moving down through the bottom side as well. Raven about to finish. The cloaking is coming through. We do have our hallucinations getting straight into that main base. The siege tank still coming up on the factory as well. So just bring that straight into play for the moment. Banshee actually going to get a couple of kills there as the stalkers will blink in underneath and just help to chase said Banshee away. Plus one, the stim coming through for the moment. We get that coming. And we'll have ourselves again the charge build. Nope, the forge coming about, Robo Bay and the gateway building. The battery also coming through just for the moment as we get all of this set up. And again, a lot of little investments being made for the moment. And a lot of just readying ourselves for the next steps of this game in general. I like it a lot for ShoWTimE though. Sorry, bless me. I'm gonna sneeze again. There we go, I think we're good. I like it a lot for ShoWTimE because I feel like a peaceful early game for ShoWTimE is a good early game for ShoWTimE, you know? Clem can be such an aggressive player, but ShoWTimE can be such a good defensive player, and I feel like being a good defensive player typically means that if you don't even have to defend, brilliant. You just kind of get to the stage of the game you want to be in anyway, right? But a defensive player wants to get to a later point, otherwise they wouldn't be so good defensively, if that makes sense. So I feel like ShoWTimE here, I mean, this attack right now from Clem is going to be the first real test for him. But his Stalkers have been very comfortable. He immediately gets a shot off on the Raven to start us off there as well, so that's a great starting point. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like the idea that we're going to start getting to here, I think, for ShoWTimE. Like I say, we'll see how his defense goes right now as get a couple more shots. The siege tank going down. A few more hits there. Stalkers are still going to hang about as well, as they will try and figure out what they would like to do. Pyro gathering, couple of tanks. The Raven overhead as well. Again, concussive shells and that +1 continue to come through currently. So a whole lot of setting up right now. Stalkers continue to do some zoning. We just have ourselves the concussive shells coming online. Some marine marauders coming up as well. So again, just a little bit of everything coming in for the moment here. Medevacs are going to unload. The bio just coming down to the bottom right. Plus coming through, the Marines get turned away the other side again. So again, we just get pushed back over for the moment. Nice to see a little Zella coming in. We actually have a big fight on the right side as ShoWTimE is going to catch a bunch of Clem's units running down away here. So just going to get a bunch of kills on those. And that's actually a really nice cleanup. It's going to do a lot for you. So that's a big win for ShoWTimE. Love seeing that for him as he pushes Clem away. And actually going to end up on top of Clem's base here as well. Can we do anything from this position? That part I'm not too sure about as the Widow Mine going to get blasted. Just going to be seeing that firing back. Isn't about to finish, as we do see a Colossus firing again. A couple of Zelts continue to charge through too. Continue to bring that into play. It's going to be seeing our Stalkers, Colossus, kind of getting into a little bit of trouble here though, and this is not as great for ShoWTimE as it initially seemed. At first it was looking good. Now he loses out a little bit, so it becomes a little bit tougher. Not quite, like I say, as pretty as maybe hoping for it to be. In the grand scheme of things, now just hanging around on that bottom side, and you can see the Banshee already going after the Sentry, and so just trying to get a little bit more done. +2/+1, just about to finish up. We still have ourselves the couple of Vikings on the way from Clem. ShoWTimE is still getting ready to push. I mean, this is what we didn't get from ShoWTimE for a long time in the last game, because he was kind of held up and a little bit kind of held back for a long time, simply for the fact of how the game had set up originally, right? He wasn't able to be as aggressive, but now here we go. Again, trying and put those Vikings straight into use as well. Love that. Putting them in good positions and trying to get them into significant places where they can just, shut them Vikings down. Those Colossus can obviously stick around here for a whole lot longer and really get a lot out of themselves. So, trying to capitalize on all of that, it seems. As the 3 Colossus will absolutely shred here if given the opportunity, and I would say right now they're getting absolutely that opportunity we're talking about. Colossus going huge. 14 SCVs already down. We hit the EMP of the Colossus. We try and dive forward with the bio unit. Stalkers will have to be the tanks in the front to keep these Colossus safe. There's a warp in, a massive warp in of Zealots. I think ShoWTimE is doing it though, guys. I think he is absolutely having enough to hold on in here and to take us through to a game 3 of this series. It's very close. I mean, Clem has got a lot of these Colossus low. If he has another EMP available especially, he can EMP the Colossus again, then they're going to go down very quickly. There's the EMP, the shields disappear, the Prism nearly goes down, but it will get to survive. No, it's going to be denied. There's no way the Vikings don't target fire that. That was an obvious one, but Clem just doesn't have enough anyways. That's going to do it, and we are going to go to the game 3 here between Clem and ShoWTimE. So how about that for a little bit of a fun next game, and now we get tied up and a decider map. The best part about Twitch chat is they cry about all the races. And pretty much it's like just whoever is winning right now is OP. And whoever is not winning right now needs fixing immediately, you know? Or else StarCraft is truly doomed. That's generally the vibe that we get. Bottom left corner, we are going to have ourselves the red Terran player. This is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. And in the top left-hand corner, we're going to have ourselves the blue Protoss player, ShoWTimE. Game 3 of this series, ShoWTimE really doing a lot more of what we kind of knew was very much so... Yeah, ShoWTimE really doing a lot of what we very much so knew was kind of the power play in that last game, that last match, which is get on that map, make use of those Colossus, zone out those Vikings, and the value you can find from there is absolutely phenomenal a lot of the time, and I think that was fair to say that was very true right there as well, as the Marine and the Orbital come up, the Cybercore coming about as well. Get that all underway as we settle ourselves into this one. SCV makes his way up to the top side, so Clem's going to go over the other side, scouting here on Persephone. Honestly, I'm not really in a position right now where he wants to take any risks, so just double checking what's going on. You don't really want to drop down to that elimination match. You just lost to Rogue yesterday. A rematch against him is not necessarily going to be something you want to try your luck with right away, right? That's definitely a little bit of a factor, if nothing else, as we just have Sentry continuing through and get settled. Couple Marines going about, the Orbital Command is on the way up, so again, just a little bit of getting set up right there. The Stargate coming through as well, had that Nexus on. We just got ourselves established for a few moments. Destination is moving through the bottom side and again continue to come across for a couple of moments there. The couple of Marines are going to be around too. A couple bits and pieces, nothing really too crazy still just yet. Obviously, it is Phoenix though from ShoWTimE, and Clem going into the Cyclones. Always got to ask, are we expecting Clem just to be able to kind of shred through the early Phoenix and just go for a push that ShoWTimE will struggle to hold? Phoenix openings are always very flimsy. There's a reason they're maybe not the most loved matchup when it comes to playing this PvT. Cyclone the Marines coming back around as well. Max is going to go over to the tech lab. Into the Council Forge continue to come about. We're just going to get the Phoenix coming about as well. Just a little bit of setting up continuing. Let's go around the bottom. We'll just see ourselves the Meridian Marauder coming up. Stim and Combat Shield +1 coming through as well. So we get settled for a few moments. The Phoenix can get pushed away by that Cyclone. In the end, Clem has not been able to find his way across the map super early, but he's still going to head in towards the Stim and Combat Shield. There's always going to be a time window there where there's going to be potential to try and get a lot done as well, so keeping that in mind. Get all those upgrades coming through, just the charge and the +1 upgrade coming about as well. Stimpack Combat Shield +1, all building here. Get that underway. Clem is going to begin to make his way out and across, so we'll see if ShoWTimE really can hold up against a larger army. He's going into that charge, which is obviously a big part of defending against those attacks. Having those Zealots be a meaningful kind of front line is almost always going to be a big chunk of the way towards just seeing success in these kind of situations. Kind of armor upgrade coming through, the few Zealots and the Phoenix coming about, the Observer still coming about as well. The Medivacs and the Marines setting up also. Let's have ourselves the Medivacs continue to come through for moments. Couple Phoenix gathering together. The Bio, the Medivacs setting up from that bottom side, getting towards the center. Observer gonna come see what's going on in the middle as well. So again, a little bit of a look to see what's up. As you just see the Bio coming around the left side. Just gonna see the Garden Shield popping. Bio gonna be there. Zal's gonna go charging through. It's gonna be seeing the Wooden Mines getting lifted by the Phoenix. And all those Zal's going down. I mean, this is not pretty because Clem's able to kite away and just get a lot of value for free. The Phoenix have to run it away as well, not able to do like as much as they wanted to at all. Again, Bio gathering, Medivacs chilling. ShoWTimE now getting the warp in though, so initially felt as though Clem was starting to do a lot. Now we're going to see a Zealot count, which I don't think Clem's going to be able to choke up as much, and those Zealots actually are going to get a wrap around, and ShoWTimE going to chase. Wouldn't mind going down as well. A couple Vikings showing up. The Archon, Stalkers and so coming through too. And continue to get some lifts going. The Bio Forces continue to take a lot more shots. ShoWTimE still very much so trying to push his way forward currently. Really push his way straight into this. He's going to get 8 STVs. The third base has to lift, and if he can just keep this momentum going, this could carry him straight through all the way to victory. As here we have, I mean, not really enough at all in this natural of Clem. The bunker obviously holds for a couple of moments, but not too much. A couple Widow Mines mostly going off on singular Zealots. That's not going to save the day. If you are Clem right now, you need more than that. These Archons tough to get rid of as well because they're so tanky with their shields. We are starting to eat through a couple of them. And SCV's pulling through as well. Clem just doesn't have enough. ShoWTimE's going to win this. Wow. He's going to power his way through, and it is going to be ShoWTimE to take the 2-1 victory. Knocks Clem to the elimination match, as Clem will face off against Rogue there. Rematch from yesterday's Rex April Madness playoffs, where Clem lost 3-0. So that's going to be kind of wild. ShoWTimE takes the 2-1 victory. He gets a winner's match against Zaun.